Hello and welcome to the Superhero Hub. I'm Sam,
I'm Matt.
and today we're going to be reviewing
The Walking Dead.
yeah, episode 13, Bury Me Here. So, I'll bring up an interesting point at the start of the episode because, I flick it on, I'm watching it, and, obviously, the start of the episode is kind of what happens later on in the episode. He opens the back of the van and he plops, the one melon in the back and then closes the door. Yeah,
hmm
yeah, that's what happens at the start. And I remember sitting there thinking, like, why don't they scrub this truck down? Because there was blood on the floor of it where they kind of put the melon, and when they closed the door, there was blood splatters up the side. And I was thinking, don't these people clean the trucks and stuff like that? So I thought that was funny because obviously with what happens later on in the episode, you kind of realise. So I was pleased with myself when that happened. That I kind of clocked it. So yeah, you had. So I always forget that guy's name, Richard. The douche guy with the kind of fat nose. At the end, he he was kind of in town, I guess, or somewhere, and he was messing about with. Well, there's a bag on the floor, a Katie bag on the floor, and he's flicks some mud over it, and then you kind of just think, oh, enough. I was thinking, oh, is he because I was thinking there's no hole or anything like that. It's just a bag on the floor. So I was thinking, did he just shovel up some mud and then just put it over the bag? And then I was thinking, well, why would he do that? Why wouldn't he just dash the bag in a bin or something? So yeah, this was a very what you would call a Morgan episode, if you were. It kind of focused on him. We're back at the kingdom again. There wasn't really much kind of differentiation between it. No flicking between two multiple places. It was just kind of the kingdom and Carol. So she comes into town and she's poking about there's something you're not telling me to Morgan and stuff like that. And again, it kind of, I think we're right in the sense that, because we mentioned for the past couple of weeks and stuff like that, that is kind of revving up towards the final fight with the saviors and that kid who's learning to fight with the stick. I was like, they're focusing to is kind of,
Yeah.
the series has been predictable in that sense, where the stuff they're trying to keep clever and stuff like that, it is coming off a bit obvious, because it's they focus way too much on that kid, and it's the kind of show where it kind of snuffs out glimmers of hope and that. So if you look to this kid and that, there's a little bit of a friendship there with him and Morgan. He's opening up to it, he's hanging out with him, he's training in the kind of young kid, I'd say about late teens and stuff like that. Kid is
There was no chance he was going to live, and it was just a matter of when it was going to happen. And I knew as soon as he said there's a girl, that was it.
yeah, I figure, yeah, because I kind of looked at it and figured, well, something bad's going to happen to him, whether he gets killed or whatever. But something bad's going to happen to this kid. It's just going to f everything up and stuff like that. Obviously, he's got the little brother as well. I think that is a little brother that is kind
Maybe,
of
I don't know.
looking after. There's kind of no one else there. It's just him and the little brother, and apparently a girl or whatever. Because obviously he comes in, he gives a gift to Morgan. They're like, "Yo, let's go on this run." I knew it was the episode. He gives a gift to Morgan and all like that. They're all close and stuff like that. Mentions a girl, and then before they leave, is standing there with his brother, talking to him for minutes. It's like, come on now, chop chop. You have Big Jerry with his pie, or cobbler as they call it, yamming his cobbler and stuff like that. I hope nothing bad happens to him. I kind of like him. He
He
doesn't.
probably will. Let's face it, he's a fat guy in The Walking Dead.
Yeah, but
Don't, you know,
he ain't been eaten yet.
will be.
So yeah. I mean, they're doing another drop. I kind of knew something bad had happened anyway, because I was again, we'll go right back to the start where there's one melon in a box, and I was just thinking, why is there one melon in the box? I was thinking, oh, is that all they've got? They're going to take the one melon there and they're just going to be like, you're mad. You know what I mean? So they go, they're going to the drop off point and they're blocked off by a bunch of trolleys and stuff like that, which I noticed was pointing in the way of an arrow and stuff like that. So they're all looking round and stuff like that. Whether they're just looking around for the sake of it or followed the arrow, and there's a grave dug with a sign saying "Bury me here." So yeah, that was kind of sinister, if you will. But they thought nothing of it. Carried on, got to the drop, and the guys looking in the melon stuff. It's like, I swear, they're meant to give like half their stuff. You always see like the Alexandrians with about 20 boxes and stuff like that, but these guys are just dropping off a couple melons, and it's like, oh, it's all cool.
Or maybe it's different rules to different camps. Who knows?
Okay. So yeah, apparently they're one short. You got long hair stick, who's always like goading everyone. So apparently, if like the rules are, if the deliverers lie, someone's gonna get killed. So pulls the gun out, points it at douchebag Richard, who's looking very booky. You know what I mean? It's kind of, I mean, something that grabbed my attention. Like, I mean, afterwards, but the gun's to his head. Is like, go on then, do it, and it's like pop, and yeah, of course, you guessed it, it's the kid. Forget his name.
Benjamin.
Yeah. So Benny gets shot in the leg. They're like still talking. They're like, "Yo, we've got to get him back. We've got to get him back." I mean, before that, the big guy, who I literally just forgot his name, even though I mentioned it a couple of minutes ago, he gets smacked in the head. He's like, "Don't interrupt the king," and he gets smacked in the head. That doofy stuff's played out. I mean, if I was a saviour, I'd be like, knock it off as well. So yeah, the kid gets shot in the leg, and they're like, mass panic, we've got to get him back. And then the guy's like browbeating him for like another couple of minutes before he lets him go. Leaves the stick there, takes all their guns beforehand. So yeah, they get back, but I mean, they get back to Carol's yard because, I mean, I guess it's closer. One would imagine. So I mean, they're getting back to the house, quick time. I like the bleeding effect. That they kind of pushed a little rag down and like the blood comes up and stuff like that, as opposed to, it was quite realistic. So I was impressed with that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've had 7 years to kind of perfect this sort of stuff now. I mean, I should be pretty good at it.
Yeah. So yeah, the kid dies.
Of course.
Probably one of the best bits of the episode, like Morgan walks out and ends up going back to the place where they were kind of blocked off, the grave and stuff like that, and I think he was contemplating, slashing his wrist and then just dropping in the grave and stuff like that. It kind of goes on a mad one. Then you kind of flashes through all his experiences and stuff like that, and I think they were kind of giving the impression there were signs around the things and stuff like that, like please listen and stuff like that, that are obviously hints for later in the episode. So he's melting, he ends up kicking it. I mean, it's all this hype that something's going to happen, and then he just ends up like really lacklusterly kicking a box, and yeah, he kicks a box, and what's under there, a melon. So somehow he manages to put two and two together.
I mean, it was convenient that the box he kicked happened to be that one, didn't it?
I mean, come on.
Also, the bit where he started killing some walkers, like that was badly choreographed.
I like it.
Good.
I like it when he kind of pokes them with the stick and it goes right into their face.
Yeah, that was fine, but the bit where it looked like he was dancing round for a while, it looked like a slow motion version of like the prequel lightsaber fight. It's like, this is too choreographed, but his general descent into madness again, I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I think he kind of saw Benjamin slightly as a replacement for his own kid.
Yeah, because he says it, doesn't he? He's talking and he says Dwayne.
Yeah.
He calls him Dwayne. It's like Benjamin. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely a replacement for his son. So yeah, he kind of confronts Richard, douchebag, and it's like, I think, he kind of makes the same point he always makes and stuff like that, but he's like kind of said that, my plan was to kind of do that, I was going to get shot in the head, blah blah blah, and to lock me in the grave. Um, and then that would have caused friction or whatever. I mean, I get his idea. I mean, he tried with Daryl last time to try and like run the saviors off the road and like kill them and then start something. So I mean, I guess his kind of hand was forced this time. And I mean,
But
his
this has been coming with him. You know, like the kid, you could see the kid was going to die. You can tell Richard eventually was going to do something. At one point, I thought during that confrontation with Daryl a while back, I thought Daryl might actually put him down to stop him doing something to Carol, but he didn't. So this is always going to happen eventually.
um, so yeah, so Richard's kind of given up his thing and stuff, like he was going to get killed and blah blah blah, but the kid died instead, so his kind of plan was scuppered. Not that really, to be honest, I mean, he's such a kind of wild card and stuff like that, and people are so aware of this guy, like Friction, that I think even if he did get shot, I still rate nothing would have happened. I think him dying there and then, so I mean, it kind of worked out for the best that the kid got shot. Um, so yeah, he's kind of telling Morgan, this is gonna spark stuff. We should go there and pretend everything's cool, and then like get their trust, and then end up killing them and spark all out war. And it's like Morgan's kind of standing there, and it looks as though he's kind of on board and stuff like that. And it's like, I'm gonna tell people. So yeah, they have to go back to the drop-off point to drop off the single melon, which you saw right at the start of the episode, and that explains why there was blood on the floor and a couple blood splatters, because the guy got shot, not
Right,
because
and
they
throughout
don't
the
clean
episode
them
as well, Richard had talked about his family and his daughter dying, which kind of brings up a dynamic between him and Morgan, you know, two sides of the same coin and whatnot. So they go back to the meeting with the Saviors, right?
Yeah.
And Morgan, I think it's pretty obvious that Morgan is about to blow throughout this entire thing.
He was too calm.
Yeah. What do you think Richard was going to do when he started to talk to the Saviors? Was he going to admit what he's done, or was he going to play it cool?
I don't think he was going to say anything, and I think Morgan knew that. But I think like it's interesting because it kind of now. It kind of worked out exactly what like Richard said, but obviously Morgan must have thought to himself, right, we're going to play it cool, pretend we're on the side, and then we're going to launch out all out war, which was Richard's plan. But then he probably thought, right, um, he's superfluous to the plan. I mean, Richard obviously thought, oh, if we're like all cool handshakes and stuff like that, that's going to kind of get their trust back. But like Morgan must have thought, you all know what, this guy needs to be punished and stuff like that. So it's like, I'm going to kill him. That's going to get the trust back. So as opposed to handshaking, he strangles him, smacks his head in, kills him, tells everyone publicly what happened, that it was a plot. So now the Saviors are buddies with him, and now he's kind of been like, so yeah. So I mean, he took Richard's plan, but instead of like following exactly the plan, he thought, I know, instead of doing this, I'm gonna kill you instead. So takes him to the grave. Like he's like, leave me alone. Like the Saviors go off. They're like, yo, come on then, let's go. And he's like, nah, I need to be alone. Obviously, to go and bury Richard in his grave, exactly what he kind of planned. So yeah, kind of puts it all and then finds the bag, and it's just like whatever. So kind of
I guess it's kind of a way of like being buried with his daughter or something.
Yeah. I think he found his peace or whatever, so he can rest assured that everything he kind of wanted has kind of come to fruition. It's just a shame that the kid had to die as well, but all's fair in war. So he goes to Carol's as well, set part 2 of the plan, because he said like to Daryl that if Carol knew what happened at Alexandria, that she's going to be down, you know what I mean? She's going to rally the troops. So he tells her exactly what happens, all the people they've killed. She marches back into town. She kind of moves in. I think they've swapped places now.
Yeah.
Morgan's in Carol's yard, and she's gone to the kingdom to beef it. She's told him straight, look, I don't care what's popping, yo. Get your team together, because we're gonna team up with Alexandria and the Hilltop, and unbeknownst to them, the dum dums, and we're gonna take on the saviors, which Ezekiel kind of agrees straight away. Which, I mean, if you've seen our previous review videos, you'll know that, I mean, one of the catalysts of All Out War, we said multiple times, would be probably that kid getting killed. So
Mhm.
so yeah, we were right about that one as well, which is always nice. So yeah, they're getting ready to kind of gang up with everyone else, and the episode kind of ended with Morgan sharpening his stick.
What is it with him and that damn stick?
It kind of had the origin of it because it was like passive and stuff like that, and it kind of has a stick and stuff like that instead of a gun, and he can like slap people down instead of like lethally killing them. So yeah, he's sharpening the stick now, because now it is a weapon. It's going to take down not only the fleshy walkers, but because of the point, more solid targets as well. So he's preparing for war. That's all I have to say. Have you got any more points to make?
Um, Not really. One question I do have is: do you think Morgan is going to be like Carol was, like we said, of swapping places, or is he going to go even further and go back to being like he used to be, where he's just an all-out nut job?
Um, well, he was like an all-out nut job because he was isolated. Remember, he's at his original place, kind of sitting there. His kid was dead, and he was all by himself, fighting walkers and stuff like that alone. So now he's put himself in that position again. Um, whether it'll get rectified after the kind of danger of the saviors has been omitted, but I think for now, I mean, I imagine there's gonna be that talk with Rick and stuff like that. I think Rick's friendly enough with him that he's gonna be like, "Yo, you're better than this. You know, you don't have to kill people." There's gonna be that talk, and it's just gonna be like, "Whatever, Rick." You know what I mean? No one cares what you have to say. So, I think for now, he's gonna be interesting. Um, Still think Carol's boring. You know what I mean? Uninterested with her, but she's kind of rallied the troops. Um, thank God it wasn't all about her. It's like, who cares? So yeah, let's talk numbers.
I'm going to go with an 8.5. I thought this was a strong episode, probably the strongest in a while.
Well, come on, let's be serious. It was better than last week's. I'm not gonna point five it. I'll give it an 8. It was good. It was kind of like a normal episode. But like it accelerated from 0 to 100 pretty quickly now. So now, instead of everyone lagging behind, and at least they didn't really drag out the kingdom, because I imagine they could have dragged it out for another couple of episodes. But now they're 100% on board. It's going down, y'all.
Right,
So
a lot of the plot points that we've been waiting for in the kingdom finally happened in this episode. The kid died, Richard did his thing, and he died. And they're finally set against taking on the saviors. Morgan's out, and Carol's in. So it's every plot thread we've been waiting for happened in this episode.
yeah, so now, I mean, looking to next week, it's either going to be the Alexandrians looking for guns, because I mean, I think unless they do that off screen, like the dum dums are like on side now, because I mean they've still got to go get some more guns, or it's going to be back at the Saviour's yard. But I can't imagine what's really going to happen there, because the Saviours are unbeknownst. It's just going to be business as usual from there. I think it'd be better
No,
that.
it's gonna get back to Rick, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, I'd think so. Obviously, they've got to grab up the guns first part of the episode, all line up together. You know, a meeting, the heads of each area. Uh,
Aren't those two going off to take out Negan? Didn't that happen last week?
oh, Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
Yeah,
Oh, so it could be a Saviour's episode, but kind of switch from their point of view, and like the saviors or whatever. You
maybe.
could have Eugene plodding about, blah blah blah, and then like it switches like half and half to them girls going there and something happening. Or it could be um, just those two attacking the saviors from the saviors' point of view, like they're sitting there doing their business and then shots fired or whatever, and then it's like a mad thing like that. But I think whatever the next Rick episode is, they need to get the guns quick time, they need to get the dum-dums, and they all need to get the heads of state together, get them all in one room, look, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this, and then call it off, and then the next episode everything kicks off. But knowing them, it'll be like 3/4 of the episode, nothing happens, then it kicks off at the end.
Well, we'll have to wait and see.
So yeah, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I'm Sam.
I'm Matt.
And this has been
The Superhero Hub.
You Know.